As the sun began its descent, painting the vast South African sky with hues of fiery red and soft orange, Marikale National Park transformed into a breathtaking tableau of untamed beauty. The sprawling golden grasslands, stretching as far as the eye could see, were bathed in the warm, fading light, creating a scene that was both wild and utterly captivating. In the heart of this tranquil landscape, a pride of lions, led by a magnificent male, embarked on their evening hunt. The pride, consisting of one dominant male with a resplendent golden mane and 5 formidable female lions, moved with a silent grace, their eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of prey. The male lion, a picture of regal power and seasoned experience, led his pride deep into the dense forest, his every step deliberate and purposeful. The 5 lionesses followed close behind, their senses heightened, their eyes blazing with an almost primal intensity as they searched for the telltale signs of a potential meal. Marikale National Park, renowned for its rich biodiversity and breathtaking landscapes, held an air of serene beauty. Yet it was also a place of constant struggle, where the delicate balance between predator and prey was perpetually tested. The park, despite its protected status, faced a constant threat from poachers who sought to exploit its natural resources for their own gain. The lions, unaware of the lurking dangers, continued their hunt, their focus solely on the task at hand, their movements a testament to their inherent wildness. Deep within the forest, where the shadows grew longer and the air hung heavy with the scent of earth and foliage, poachers had set their deadly traps, concealed beneath the undergrowth, waiting to ensnare unsuspecting rhinos for their precious horns. The pride of lions, their senses honed for the hunt, remained oblivious to the lurking danger, their focus solely on the pursuit of prey. The male lion, leading the way, suddenly paused, his nostrils twitching as he detected an unfamiliar scent. He cautiously separated himself from the pride, his eyes scanning the surrounding area, his body tense, with alertness. In that instant, a sharp metallic clang echoed through the stillness, as his leg was suddenly ensnared in a sturdy steel trap, its teeth clamping down with brutal force. The male lion, caught in the vice-like grip of the trap, let out a thunderous roar of pain and outrage, the sound reverberating through the forest, shattering the tranquility of the evening. The 5 lionesses, startled by the sudden commotion and their leader's distress, immediately rushed to his aid, their eyes filled with a mixture of fear and fierce protectiveness. They surrounded their companion, their bodies tense, their eyes darting around the area, searching for the source of the danger. The male lion, his leg trapped and his pride watching helplessly, tried to wrench himself free. But his efforts only served to worsen the wound, his roars of pain turning into groans of resentment and despair. The trap, designed for the immense strength of rhinos, possessed an unforgiving clamping force, making escape seem impossible. As time dragged on, the male lion's strength began to wane, his panting breaths growing shallow, his body succumbing to exhaustion. The 5 lionesses, refusing to abandon their leader, remained steadfast, their eyes filled with unwavering loyalty, their bodies forming a protective circle around him. From morning until evening, the pride of lions remained close to their trapped leader, their movements restricted, their focus solely on guarding and tending to his wounds. They licked his injuries, offering what comfort they could, their presence a silent testament to their unwavering bond. As the evening shadows lengthened, casting an orange glow over the forest, the wind rustled through the trees, creating a symphony of nature's whispers. Suddenly, a strange sound pierced the stillness, breaking the silence that had settled over the forest. It was the distinct rumble of a car engine, the sound of Cabello, a reserve ranger, making his final rounds, before heading home for the day. He often took a final patrol, ensuring the safety of the park and its inhabitants. Hearing a faint growl, Cabello immediately stopped his vehicle, his instincts telling him something was amiss. He stepped out of the car, his eyes scanning the area, and was stunned by what he saw. A magnificent male lion, his leg trapped in an iron trap, his body showing signs of exhaustion. Surrounding him were 5 lionesses, their eyes fixed on Cabello, their expressions a mixture of wariness and fierce protectiveness. Assessing the situation, Cabello immediately recognized the trap as a rhino trap, a cruel device set by poachers. A wave of fear washed over him, not only for the trapped lion but also for his own safety. Darkness was rapidly approaching, and he didn't have time to return to the ranger station for reinforcements. The urgency of the situation was clear. If he didn't act quickly, the poachers might return to check their trap, and the male lion would be lost. Determined to act, Cabello prepared his tranquilizer gun, just in case. He approached slowly, his hands raised high, signaling his peaceful intentions. The 5 lionesses growled, their bodies tense, but they remained still, their eyes following his every move. The male lion, seemingly understanding that help had arrived, stopped his pain, whines, his eyes fixed on Cabello. Sweat poured down Cabello's forehead and back, his body tense with anticipation. He made a bold decision, putting aside the tranquilizer gun, deciding to attempt to remove the trap directly. The male lion's leg was swollen and bleeding, a testament to the brutal force of the trap. Cabello took a deep breath, steeling himself for the task ahead. He walked closer to the male lion, his movements slow and deliberate. The lionesses shifted their legs, preparing to defend their leader, their eyes never leaving Cabello. He spoke softly, offering words of comfort, even though he knew the lions couldn't understand his human language. His voice was a calming presence in the tense atmosphere. Cabello's hands trembled as he grasped the cold, unforgiving iron of the trap. The metal, designed to hold the immense strength of a rhino, was firmly clamped around the lion's leg, the heavy chain wrapped tightly, a cruel reminder of the poacher's intent. He braced himself, his muscles straining as he tried to pry open the hardened steel joints, putting every ounce of his strength into his arms. Time seemed to stretch, each passing moment precious to the trapped lion, whose fate hung in the balance. The male lion, his body racked with pain, occasionally hissed, a raw sound of suffering, but he endured, his eyes fixed on Cabello, a silent plea for release. 4 of the 5 lionesses, their protective instincts surging, seemed poised to intervene, their bodies tense. But the leading lioness, with a wisdom born of experience, held them back, her eyes fixed on Cabello, a mixture of probing and hesitant, trust in her gaze. After what felt like an eternity, 15 minutes of relentless struggle against the unyielding metal, Cabello finally managed to pry the trap open. The male lion let out a powerful roar, a cathartic release of pain and pent-up frustration, the sound echoing through the forest, a testament to his resilience. The wound on his leg was still bleeding, a stark reminder of the ordeal, but at least he had escaped the clutches of death, his life spared from the cruel trap. Cabello, his adrenaline still surging, hurriedly grabbed the trap, a symbol of the poacher's cruelty, and ran quickly to his car, placing it securely in the trunk. Then he returned, carrying an emergency medical kit, his movements swift and purposeful. He approached the male lion, his hands gentle as he began to disinfect the wound, using cotton to wipe away the blood, his actions a testament to his compassion. The 5 lionesses watched intently, their eyes following his every move, their expressions a mixture of disbelief and quiet understanding at his actions. Cabello, his voice laced with indignation, cursed the cruel poachers who had set the trap, his words a silent promise to protect the park's inhabitants. He carefully placed the bandages around the lion's leg, trying his best not to inflict any more pain, his touch a soothing balm to the wounded animal. Despite his fear of the unknown, the potential for a sudden attack, he continued his work with unwavering dedication, his heart filled with a sense of purpose. The male lion lay still, his breathing gradually becoming more stable, his body relaxing. Under Cabello's gentle care, Cabello decided to inject the lion with a mild stimulant, a boost to aid in his recovery, his movements precise and careful. The needle lightly touched the skin, and the male lion flinched, startled. But he did not react violently, his trust in Cabello evident. He silently thanked the lions for their continued calm observation, their presence a silent encouragement. The sky gradually darkened, casting long shadows across the forest, and the cold wind blew through the trees, urging him to hasten his work. After administering the injection, he packed up his tools, his movements efficient, and returned to his car, his body still buzzing with the adrenaline of the rescue. The adrenaline in Cabello's body had not yet dissipated, his heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and relief. He looked back at the male lion who was still lying there, his leg carefully bandaged, a symbol of the successful rescue. About 10 minutes passed and the medicine began to take effect. The male lion moved slightly, then slowly lifted himself up, his movements cautious, testing his newly bandaged leg. He walked unsteadily, trying to adapt to the altered sensation, his determination evident. The 5 lionesses immediately approached, surrounding their leader, their bodies a protective shield, their presence a silent affirmation of their unwavering loyalty. The entire pride seemed to breathe a collective sigh of relief as they witnessed their friend's ability to walk again, their expressions a mixture of joy and gratitude. Cabello stood at a distance, carefully observing, ensuring that everything was all right, his heart filled with a sense of accomplishment. The male lion turned his head, his gaze meeting Cabello's, a strangely calm and intense look in his eyes. In that moment, Cabello felt an invisible bond forming between him and the magnificent beast, a connection that transcended species and language. Although it lasted only a few seconds, that shared look was enough to warm his heart, a silent acknowledgement of the life he had saved. Cabello nodded, a silent farewell to the lions, and gently retreated, his movements respectful, not wanting to disturb their reunion. The sound of the car engine starting up broke the silence of the forest, and he drove away from the area, not forgetting to look back at the lions one more time, their figures silhouetted against the fading light. The whole pride stood still, watching the car until it disappeared into the darkness, their silent vigil a testament to their gratitude. The sunset gradually faded, and the Maracaibo forest was plunged into a quiet night, the sounds of nature filling the air, a peaceful symphony. From that day on, the memory of rescuing the lions was forever imprinted in Cabello's heart, a powerful reminder of the profound connection between humans and animals. Every afternoon, on his way back from patrol, he passed by the place where he had freed the male lion, a silent pilgrimage to the site of the rescue. He often stopped for a moment, listening to the rustling wind and the sounds of nature, his mind filled with the images of the lions. Suddenly one day he caught a glimpse of a male lion from afar, its figure a majestic silhouette against the horizon. It did not approach too closely, but it was clearly watching the car, its eyes fixed on Cabello, a silent guardian. The 4 female lions also hid behind the bushes, their figures obscured by the foliage, alert but not aggressive, their presence a silent acknowledgement of his presence. Cabello smiled, realizing that it was the male lion he had rescued, now returning the favor, escorting him on his way home. The next day, the same situation happened again, the male lion following the car for about 5 kilometers and then stopping, his movements deliberate and purposeful. As a sign of peace, it quietly observed, its gaze steady, and then disappeared among the dense bushes, blending seamlessly into the landscape. Cabello believed that this was the lion's way of expressing gratitude, a silent thank you for the life he had saved. Gradually, he considered it a special habit, a daily ritual that deepened his love for nature and strengthened his connection to the wild. And so, Every day, Cabello felt a sense of joy and fulfillment as he saw the lion's trusting eyes, a living testament to the magical bond between humans and animals, a connection that transcended species and language. Dear friend, thank you for taking the time to follow this heartwarming story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us and to discover more tales of the incredible bonds between humans and the animal kingdom.